truth is this: you are all being used.
The vigilante citizen is delivering a brand of justice that some believe the authorities have failed to provide, targeting both criminals and those in power accused of allowing crime to flourish unchecked.
There's been a lot said about me, so I thought you should hear directly from me. I'm here to help you take that control back.
The state, court, police. See, you think that they've failed you, but they haven't. No, they only exist to control you.
Do you want justice?
Yes.
Let's get some fresh blood. You walk down the street and you get stabbed or robbed.
He's a real hero.
We need more guys like this.
What does your country do? Nothing.
Our current system is failing to protect our citizens.
He's like the real deal.
He's playing with us.
What if everything they ever taught you was utter nonsense? We can change history.
Well, that's the trailer for a film called Citizen Vigilante. It's been released recently. It was banned in Germany, so Elon Musk put it on X so the whole world could watch it free of charge. And it's been watched by millions and millions of people. Right, why have I taken an interest in it? Because I've had a wider concern about developments within sort of right-wing politics, anti-immigration, anti-Islam, concerned about immigration, concerned about Islam, however we want to put it. That section of the political spectrum, more and more people becoming more and more extreme, stirring up hatred, crossing boundaries that they shouldn't cross. And I feel we're heading for trouble. And that trouble next time could be more than a few bricks and wheelie bins in the street or a few bad social media posts. I think it could be significantly worse. And my concern is an increasing number of people have got a tribe rather than a moral compass. So with any issue, they think there's two sides, I'm on this side, and that's all you need to know. I judge everything from that perspective. I don't need to think, is this person right or wrong in what they're doing? You just have to think, are they on my team or are they on the opposing team? So things I'm seeing on social media are quite concerning, and developments here in Scotland in this regard I think are concerning as well. I think there are some irresponsible commentators and leaders in this area, so it might not end well. So back to this film, which will have been watched very extensively in Scotland, I guarantee it. Right, is it a good film? Is it well made? Has it got good acting? Don't care. That's not what I want to talk about. So the story, it's about a hero. And the hero is a vigilante, and he is presented as a hero. Not some sort of mixed character, not some pluses, some minuses, just basically exclusively this is the good guy throughout the film, unremitting. And his basic mission is to bring what he sees as justice to migrants who've committed crimes. Sometimes he's there on the spot when something happens to happen. Sometimes there's something that's happened, has gone to court, but the punishment's been too weak, and so he goes and kills the people, basically. And it's very explicit that that's what's going on. And it's also very explicit it's about migrant crime. Not about criminals in general, migrant crime. And throughout the film, you hear lots of sort of talking points from sort of anti-immigration, anti-Islam sort of perspectives. They talk about crime committed by immigrants, particularly violent and sexual crime. Talk about alien values and dangerous values being imported into a nation. Talk about weak sentencing, particularly because of reasons. Now, you've probably heard the sort of things. Oh, the person didn't quite understand our values here. They didn't quite understand you're not allowed to do that to women here. There's been a bit of that in various countries in Europe. So all those concerns are absolutely real and genuine and justified. To some degree, it's not as black and white as some people might think, but they're very valid concerns that need drastic action in some cases to deal with. But if you look at the comments below this video, a lot of the comments will be as though I hadn't said that. Because people just think, what tribe are you in? No, you're saying some things that don't quite fit in with what I think, so you must be on the other side, etc. I think on a lot of issues, people can only have like I don't know, this sounds a bit patronising maybe, like as though they can only have one thought in their brain. It's either you're on one side or you're on the other side. Any idea that you're going to think of anything in a bit more nuanced way, it just doesn't break through. Anyway, so the hero, the vigilante, offers justice to victims. So sometimes, the victim, in one case, the victim's in hospital or battered and bruised, and he went to her and said, "Would you like justice?" And it reminded me of the Godfather movie, where a man goes to the mafia boss and says, "Oh, my daughter was attacked by these people. They seem to get away with this. Can you sort it out?" So he pays his money, and it's they take the law into their own hands. It just reminded me of that. When he metes out violence to these criminals, it is pretty gratuitous. In one scene, he's shown with his arsenal of weapons in his house, I assume, somewhere. And one of the scenes where he's meting out, I say, pretty extreme violence, just killing people, basically. There's quite fun music playing, and the injuries, bodies, etc., it is all pretty graphic. I think it appeals possibly to a sort of male fantasy of having the excuse to be violent and strong in the cause of right in order to protect people, to be the real hero. And that's definitely how it's presented. And it appeals to people on that basis. It does effectively say to people, look what a great thing you can do. And people are going to follow that in some cases. Now, the main story, the main justice, so-called, that he metes out is to a family of immigrants. They look Middle Eastern, maybe. And a white girl has been sexually assaulted very seriously by a number of young men. And they've sort of got away with this. It's gone to court, and they've been told they have to go to re-education classes or something. They haven't gone to prison. And so he decides he's going to kill the perpetrators. So he goes to the flat of one of the boys, and the daughter of the family as well. She was also there during the crime, and she'd put on social media that the girl probably deserved it because she was wearing a miniskirt, and that's what the Quran says. I mean, the Quran doesn't really say that. So she was for it as well. Also, he accuses them of putting religion over democracy. I'm not sure you can claim to be a defender of democracy when you're going around killing people illegally. But it says they put their religion over democracy. And the father admits that he's teaching these values to the family. And so basically our hero in the film kills the lot of them, including the mother, who I don't think had really said anything related to it. So just the whole family of immigrants, just kill the lot. Then he gets the other perpetrators to come around, just shoots all of those, and then goes on his way. Also, there's a judge who has failed to punish some, again, immigrants who've committed a very similar sort of serious crime. And he's pictured saying, oh, they need re-educating. It's our fault, really. We didn't integrate them very well. So, I mean, a really extreme situation. He just failed to punish them. But then the vigilante just kills the judge, basically. And the sort of lines we're getting around this is people will not accept a takeover. Now, I thought that was quite interesting, because bringing justice to crimes, that's not to do with being taken over particularly. So there is broadening it out a little bit beyond the issue of justice for criminals. We, the people, will end it. We're going to rise up one way or another. Obviously, the example is you go around shooting people. We're going to end this takeover by immigrants. We don't want society to collapse. Now, again, valid concern. I think there are some ways in which immigration is putting the stability of our society in danger, but vigilantism is hardly the route to stable society either. Another sort of subplot, sub-theme in the film is the idea that the state is against the people. It's like a conspiracy sort of mindset. So in the film, the police are baddies. The police are basically on the side of the criminals, and the government it just says the state exists to control you. They don't really want to protect you, they just want to control you. Which again, is pretty sort of conspiratorial, but definitely the police are the baddies. So violence against the police. I mean, he kills multiple police officers in the film. And the intention is that you don't have the slightest sympathy for them, even though they're just trying to do their job and arrest someone who is going around killing people. And it talks about sheep as well. Most people are sheep, which is like conspiracy theory standard language. They just go along with it. And there's illustration with that. So he's driving along on a road and he moves to the wrong lane. So the car was coming straight at him. But the car coming straight at him didn't change lanes straight away. They kept in that lane because they didn't want to break the law. Maybe assumed he was going to move out of the way. Then the car swerves out of the way at the last minute, turns over, bursts into flames. You assume the driver's killed. And that's just an illustration that people are not willing to break the law. Whereas people should be willing to break the law on appropriate occasions. Obviously, implication that if you don't break the law, if you don't engage in vigilante action, well, you're really a bit stupid, aren't you? I mean, you're valuing the law far too highly, and you really need to get on with what needs to be done. A couple of other points from the film. There's a sort of sex scene in a brothel. It doesn't really serve the plot, such that it is, at all. But I would say he's pretty rough with the prostitute. He sort of pushes her quite aggressively, I would say. And what that scene does, I think, it makes it absolutely clear that this film is not supposed to be we need to get back to Christian values. We're a Christian country, so we need to get rid of these Muslims. It's definitely not that sort of theme, thank God. It makes it quite clear this has nothing to do with Christian values whatsoever. There's another scene in some sort of nightclub or pub where two blokes spike the drinks of two girls while the girls are, I don't know, gone to the toilet or something. But then our hero swaps the glasses round so the blokes who spike the drinks end up like unconscious, which is, that's a sort of good thing to do. But the problem is it's presenting him yet again as the good guy. So a good guy who prevents basically like drug date rape. The good guy who prevents that is also the good guy who goes around shooting immigrants left, right and centre. There's another bit where he's got some sort of property rental business and he finds it frustrating that he can't evict people quickly enough because the courts take ages and people get away without paying their rent and still say that. So he says, what we're going to do in future, we're just going to send people around. Obviously to threaten, intimidate, who knows what them. So again, we've got to ignore the law, bypass the law, take the law into your own hands and get things sorted out. Right, I would describe the film as inciting violence for the following reasons. Because this vigilante is presented 100% as a hero, not a flicker of reservation about it. And after killing that whole family, this is what we get.
Including the entire family of Yusuf el-Shira, who resided there, it appears the vigilante citizen has struck again. This raises pressing questions. What possesses the greater threat to society? The criminals committing these heinous acts, or the vigilante who is eliminating them? According to Europe's criminal statistics, over 105,000 violent crimes were attributed to migrants last year, including 980 murders and over 18,000 reported cases of sexual assault involving immigrants from Africa. What does this mean for our legal system? Is this vigilante only stepping in because our system has failed to ensure safety and justice for the public? Stay safe out there, and thank you for watching World News.
I'm here to help you take that control back. I'm here to show you that you are no longer the victims. I'm here to show you that
It's time to go out and show these fuckers that they aren't getting away with it anymore.
Remember, I do this for you until you learn to do it for yourself.
A bit of an element of an American to the rescue there. But he says, I do it for you until you learn to do it for yourselves. What is it that he's been doing for you? Well, he's been going around murdering people, immigrants. Okay. Now, I think that's incitement. It may not be technically legal incitement, but I think the overall message of the film is that. It is propaganda. The whole film is set up to justify his actions. The whole narrative, you heard that news reporter there, you get that all the way through the film. So it's set up to justify his actions. So it takes what in many cases are valid points about immigration, okay, valid to some degree, they're probably exaggerated, but valid to some degree, and then links that or teaches that, preaches that these points justify gratuitous vigilante violence and urges people to do that themselves. Because the message at the end of the film is very much go and do thou likewise. So will this film cost lives? To be honest, I think it probably will. It probably will. So let me spell it out, what's wrong with vigilante violence. Now, you may think, surely you don't need to do that. I mean, we're in a civilized democracy. Surely you don't need to explain that. But I really think I do. I really think it does need explaining. Because probably if you look in the comments of this video, there'll be lots of people who will be arguing that, no, it's fine, that's what we need. Right, problems with vigilante violence is it leads to injustice. It leads to innocent people being punished, killed, whatever. Because if you outsource it to basically amateurs, hotheads, mobs, you end up with lynchings. I mean, it just all goes horribly wrong. Well, I think this film could be the equivalent, a modern equivalent of the film Birth of a Nation, which was released in 1915 in America, and it showed the Ku Klux Klan heroically defending white people from the barbarian blacks. And I mean, totally rigged. The whole film is rigged in that direction to make the Ku Klux Klan look heroic. And did it work? Yes. It led to the Ku Klux Klan relaunching in the 1920s in America. So I fear this film, I'd say it might be Birth of a Nation 2.0. And yeah, vigilante violence is dangerous and indiscriminate. And what does it lead to? It leads to a response from whoever's at the other end of it. So this is from the 5 Pillars, quite a popular Muslim Twitter account. It says, every mosque and community centre must provide martial arts training so we can protect ourselves. We must become the fittest, strongest and most streetwise community in the UK. We're under threat, so we have no choice but to face that threat. No more letting ourselves be intimidated by thugs. They should know that taking on a Muslim will not be an easy thing to do. Okay, that's not suggesting weapons, but you can see that they're thinking. You can see where that's heading, can't you? So this is the sort of pattern that leads to paramilitary violence that then becomes self-sustaining. Because each group focuses on, do you know what they did to us? They killed our so-and-so people. And both sides are thinking the same, and it escalates and escalates. Well, Tommy Robinson gave the film a retweet without criticism, seeming to endorse it, recommend it. At the end of his tweet, he said this, saying, before any of you bedwetting loony lefties turn to me and say I'm inciting hatred, no, it's a film. Well, I think you're just wrong there. That's just wrong. You can incite hatred with a film. You can incite violence with a film. How about if someone made a film about a person who was motivated to assassinate Tommy Robinson, and then they did. And the whole film was rigged towards showing that this was actually a good thing to do, and it showed them getting adulation, and it said it really improved the nation, really solved a problem. That was absolutely brilliant. What a hero. I don't know, Tommy Robinson said, oh, it's just a film. It's not just a film. It's preaching to people that that is a good thing to do. Anyway, it says, a film inspired by huge political failures, correct, that have absolutely nothing to do with me, correct, and I take no responsibility for. Okay, fair enough. I do not condone violence against any innocent people, ever. Bit of a problem with that though, Tommy. The idea of this film is the violence isn't against innocent people. The violence is against people who are guilty or thought to be guilty. So that actually doesn't undermine the message of the film whatsoever. Now, I suspect Tommy Robinson hasn't actually thought that through. I think he probably means that he rejects vigilante violence. I think. So who knows what people will be making of that. Well, then Elon Musk, who shared this, I think is extremely irresponsible to share this. Look what else has been sharing. So this is from South Africa. This is a member of the South African Parliament saying, we will kill the white man's children, we will kill their women, we will kill anything that we find in our way. Now, okay, I know there are these absolute racist nutcases in the South African Parliament. They're not the government, but they're elected there. And Elon Musk says it's extremely troubling, and it is. It absolutely is. I mean, quite right. But does he not see it's also troubling to be sharing a film that's basically inciting violence against non-white people as well. So again, for Elon Musk, it seems to be a matter of which team are you on rather than what's right and what's wrong. Right, let's finish with probably the most ridiculous take of the lot. And I've seen a significant amount of this on social media. This is David Curtin, leader of the Heritage Party. Sometimes people say to me, oh, what do you think of the Heritage Party? Well, they're pro-life, aren't you? Are they okay? You know, what do you think of those? Let's just look at this. Citizen Vigilante is a psyop. In other words, it's produced by someone to have an effect on people's psychology. The powers that be want to stir up civil war between whites and Muslims immigrants so they can crack down and impose their planned totalitarian surveillance state. Okay, so this film is not made by people with sort of far-right views to encourage far-right vigilantism. It's made by the state or the people who control everything. I wonder who they could be. We'll come to that in a minute. So it's made by the people who control everything because they want to stir up civil war, and that will be an excuse for imposing a totalitarian state. So like crackpot conspiracy nonsense. And a lot of people believe this. Who's behind this conspiracy, do you think? You guessed it. On another level, it relates to Talmudic, Kabbalistic prophecies. In other words, it's the Jews. So David Curtin thinks the film is a Jewish plot to create civil war so they can get their own way and impose a totalitarian surveillance state. What they gain from that, I really don't know. I despair. So please make my day by making a sensible comment under this video. That would be just wonderful. Right, thanks for watching. Goodbye.